Hey guys, Jay here. Today I'm going to be working on my E46 BMW. I had previously installed a set of BC Racing coilovers. I did not bother adjusting the height when I installed them, however. I wanted to give them a chance to kind of settle out, see exactly how everything kind of settled, so I replaced the wheels at the same time. So, now that these have had plenty of time to settle, I think what I want to do is go about half an inch lower in the rear, probably about an inch lower in the front. So I figured today I would go ahead and walk you guys through, show you how I'm doing this. The BC coilover setup is a little different than other coilover setups that I've seen because you actually change the height of the shock body itself as opposed to adjusting the preload on the shock to change the height. Anyway, let's get started. So, looking at this shock, you can see here, you've got two nuts here that adjust the tension on the spring. So your shock body actually sits in here. Now the bottom here, you only have a single nut that you have to loosen, and then you just rotate the whole assembly to raise or lower it in the lower body. What that does is maintain your spring rate no matter where your shock height is set. So it gives me this much adjustability. Now on the front, I think I only want to go down about 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is take some calipers and the paint pen. So what I'm going to do is measure about 1 inch from the nut. I'm going to put a little mark on the threads here with the paint pen, just at the top of that 1 inch mark. So that what I want at the end is for the top of that nut to just cover the mark that I make with the paint pen. That'll let me know how much I want to turn this in order to set the height that I want. Okay, so from counting threads, I measured an inch, marked it, marked where my lock nut was at the set position. To get to that 1 inch mark, that was 13 turns. So I need to turn this a full 13 turns. These two dots I marked on the threads here and on the nut will be lined up, and the lines here should be lined up. I may have to back this off a little bit to get it exactly where I want it. The 13 turns looks about right to get this lowered the right amount. Alright, I think that should just about do it. Had all our marks lined up. We actually snugged this down. Our mark on our threaded sleeve, on our outer sleeve, are lined up. Lock nuts locked down, put the wheel back on, see where it lands. Alright, now with that done, I'll get the other front side done. We'll pull it out just enough to let the suspension settle, pull it back up, see what it looks like. So by using the larger spanner wrench on the lock nut to hold everything in shape, I'm not sure if you can actually see with the light as low as it is, we're able to get all those little paint marks lined up there. So that way we can be sure we turned it exactly a set number of turns, so we can get the other side to match. So now we need to get the wheel back on here. We'll see how much this affected the car height. Okay, that should have been enough movement to let the suspension kind of settle. I like the way the wheel is filling the gap there. I think I may go the same full inch on the back. There aren't any interference issues with these wheels and the fenders right now. I've obviously got the extended studs on there. My plan is, once I get the height and everything set and I can actually properly check clearances, I want to measure for spacers and get everything lined up to get, proper fitment. The outside of the fenders, the rear wheels are the ones I'm least happy about, but I was afraid to go too wide or, with the wrong offset on a set of wheels to begin with, so I use some small spacers, probably like 25 millimeter. So let's get the rear of the car set, and we'll go out on a short drive, let it settle, come back and check it out. Alright, so thought I'd walk you through the back end a little bit. This is a little bit different because it's not a pure coilover setup. So the way this works, the spring in here has its own little adjustment collar for setting height. Once you do that, you're supposed to raise up this section until the actual wheel in here, until the spring is just sitting right where it's supposed to be. And what you're supposed to do is come and adjust the height of the shock body until it lines up with its mount over here. So first thing I need to do is unbolt the shock from down here so that I can relax the tension that's holding this up. We'll get the spring height adjusted, grab another jack, kind of get this adjusted right for that spring height, and then we'll get the shock body set. Let's get to it. Alright, so on these, I'm going to go ahead and loosen these up, back them all the way off. That only gives us about an extra ½ inch. That should be about perfect for what I'm looking for. We'll adjust the shock as we get this adjusted back in the car. Now that we've pretty much got the arm here, a little bit of preload on the spring, what we need to do is adjust the shock till it's short enough to actually line up properly with that bolt hole. So again, we're just going to loosen the lock nut here, thread the body up till it's in the right place, and we'll bolt it all back together, and then tighten the lock nut down. Without actually removing the lock nuts that are on this threaded spacer for the spring, we've got that spring set as low as it'll go once we have the spring height set. Came in, adjusted the shock until, without trying to compress it or anything, we were able to thread in that bolt, then came back, tighten down this lock ring. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get a measurement from here to here, kind of a rough measurement, just to make sure when we do the other side that they're within a thread or two, and so that this is as even as possible. Alright, I guess I can let this be a learning point as well. When I installed my studs, I had run out of Loctite before I got all the wheels done. You probably noticed that clip just a second ago. I only had 2 studs left in here. So what I went ahead and did is I pulled out all the studs. Now I'm going to use red Loctite on the threads where they thread in to the hubs. We'll get these in, get them torqued down as high as we can. They only give you a 5mm hex. Let's get those tightened up. But once this red Loctite dries, that should be plenty to keep them in place. Alright, we should be done with that now. Let's get back to the spring and shock adjustment. Like we're done. Time for a quick drive to let everything settle. We'll check it out when we get back. Alright, just got back from a test drive. Got everything settled out. I like the look of this gap a lot better. It was a lot closer to what I wanted. Didn't notice any rubbing issues. Both sides ended up coming out very even. Very happy with how this turned out. I hope this is helpful in some way. These BC Racing coilovers, I got the Digressive Rate series, and they have been absolutely wonderful. Not overly harsh like I've heard some coilovers can be. So I would definitely recommend them if you're looking for coilovers. If this was helpful in any way, please drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more like this. Go get some done. Later.